January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
September.
Has 30.
Oh,
That would have saved
September.
you.
September does have 30.
If I knew to double tap on the pinky.
I genuinely do that quite a lot. I'm not going to lie. And I don't know who I learned that from, but I was probably in like second grade.
We may have just educated a whole world full of photographers on how to tell.
Just
the knuckle trick.
Yeah. Screw Honeybook.
Yeah, screw Hey everybody, welcome to Shoot the Veil. Today we have an honored guest who I'm so excited to have here, Danielle Lozeau. She is an amazing photographer, and I've looked up to her and her work for quite some time now. She is constantly on the run, always traveling, always at a wedding, somewhere across the world. So everybody, welcome Danielle. Danielle, I'm so excited you're here, and I'm sure Donny is too.
Absolutely.
We're excited to kick this off with you.
Thank you for inviting me here. This is so fun. I'm excited.
It is fun. We're really excited. This is also our first guest on the podcast, so
which I didn't know.
Yes. No pressure, no pressure. We're just having fun. So we come and sit and talk about what it means to be a wedding photographer and all the fun stuff that's involved in that, and how can we all be better as a whole and maybe like learn from each other too. So Danielle is one of our beta members in Shoot the Veil. So she is here from literally the very beginning, helping us make it a better place. And so if you aren't already following her, go follow her on Instagram. I don't know her Instagram handle, whatever. Just you look at it.
First and last name.
Yep. And don't ask me how to spell it either. Don't ask me how to spell it either.
Yeah.
Lozeau, what did you say?
Lozeau rhymes with bozo.
Lozeau rhymes with bozo.
But it's not spelled that way.
It's not. It's very French.
It's got that, they're very that French draw on it. What do they call it? So today we're just going to kind of ask you a few questions about who you are, what you do, and how you got into the business. So tell me a little bit about how you started. I want to hear about how you started.
I started photography out in Los Angeles. I did fashion editorial photography for an e-commerce company. So we worked with brands like Alison Olivia, Marc Jacobs, Tribe, a bunch of different brands that we would kind of, shoot them for the e-commerce side. And then we would also do kind of lookbook stuff.
Yeah.
Totally got that job without any experience. I guess I just sold them in the interview, which good
Way
for
to go.
me. Yeah.
Way to go. And you said that's in LA.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I did that for a little while, and then
What was your job there? What were you doing with that?
doing the
Shooting?
photography.
You were the photographer and you had no experience.
No.
Wow.
I had zero experience. I mean, I knew a lot of like Photoshop.
Yeah.
I was very fluent in Photoshop at the time because I think we used I guess there was Lightroom, but it was more Photoshop back then. And I did do photos. I did know a lot about photography. At the time, I did not own my own camera.
Wow.
I used the company's camera. They provided like a Mark III. It was like, here you go.
Because you sold them that you were this amazing photographer.
Yeah.
Well done. And now she does that. I mean, every day with your brides, and you're doing a great job. And I mean, seriously, she's got the people skills. You sold yourself and you got right into the.
I'm so fascinated by that. So I don't mean to like dive too deep, but I get ads all the time from some of these big fashion places. I don't know why they send them to me, but they do. And I look at them for the photography. And often I'll look, and seasonally it'll change, but I'll look and think, these are horrible pictures. But what I love is this conversation that happened at the place, and they hired some young person to take the pictures who'd never taken a picture. And they're like, no, trust me, this is it. And these are going to be great. Like, okay, you're cool, I guess. You know what you're doing.
It's kind of like what it was. I didn't have a portfolio going into it. They were like, do you have any photographies? I was like, well, I was really, really good friends with a photographer out in LA. He was one of my best friends. And I would use his stuff, and we would go out and do shoots, and we would do influencers and stuff like that back when influencing was bloggers, not social media influencers. And I use those photos. She was like, do you have anything to show for it? And I was like, well, I have some, my email. And I was like, there's a self-timer photo of me. And they were like, oh, that's really great. I was like, thanks. And they were like, cool. Do you want to start Monday? And I was like, sure.
Dude, it was just meant to be.
Yeah, it was a really interesting job. I learned a lot.
Yeah. So I want to know more about how you transitioned out of that and started going to the wedding field. Was it you got a call hey, do you want to do my wedding, or how did that work?
So when I moved to Tennessee, there was really no fashion editorial jobs here that I could find that I felt like I was going to make money off of. So I ended up working for a doctor. And I got in contact with another photographer here, and I sent her an email through her website. And I was like, hey, like, I have some photography skills. Like, I've been doing, fashion editorial photography for a little while, and I kind of want to learn how to do weddings. Like, I don't think I'm going to go down that road. I think I just want to kind of keep to couples and families, because I did a few of those while I was here just to make extra money. And I was like, I just kind of want to intern and just kind of see what it's like, to see if I like it. And I interned for her. It's Kristen Jones.
Yeah.
And I would show up. I would work Monday through Friday full time, and I would show up on a wedding Saturday and Sunday, and I would just be like, what do I do? Like, with my little camera. And I was like, do you want me to just take some like behind the scenes and I did weddings for her, and I started seconding for her, and then I started associating for her, and then she started sending me weddings, which is like, I referred someone to you, and I started booking weddings through that. And I think the first year that I worked for her, I did 15 of my own weddings.
That's so great.
In the first year you're working for her, you did 15 of your own weddings.
Yeah.
That, like, most photographers are like aspiring to get their first 15 or 20 weddings.
That
it was interesting.
I love that so much, because one, it was another photographer, multiple photographers, and mainly Donny, who brought me up and got me into the world of photography and the wedding photography business especially. And that was one reason, like, in the beginning, we were like, we want to provide that for so much more than just us. Can we make a space? Because, you start off in the wedding photography world, and you're kind of like, hey, is this competition over community, or is it community over competition? Mm-hmm. And so Kristen Jones took you under her wing, and she taught you, and you already knew a lot then, but she started supporting you, and I love that. I think that's so cool. Shout out to her. And I mean, I think that's so cool that like a community helped bring you up, and here you are, like, literally traveling all over the States every weekend, it seems like.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah. Way to go.
It's a weird trajectory. I mean, it's been a weird fast road.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect that was gonna kind of. 'Cause I didn't want to do weddings. I didn't think I liked them. And then when I was doing weddings with her, I was like, oh, I kind of like this.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that there was no. I mean, there's a certain protocol with weddings, but there's no like set procedure. They kind of have their own like thing that they follow.
Yes.
And I liked that they were also very different.
Yeah.
And I need that. I am not someone that I can't sit down.
So you're not a creature of habit?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
That's fun, yeah.
I mean, my parents knew that when I was a kid. Like, I had 2 desks when I was in 3rd grade. And I was allowed to go from one desk halfway through the day, and then I was able to pick up my stuff and move to my other desk. And I was the only kid that had 2 desks. But they were like, she can't sit still.
Wow.
She's up. She's walking around. She's like, talking to people, and like, what can we
It's
do?
your superpower.
Yeah, my mom's
Seriously.
like, can we try like some type of system? So I was like, I knew that going into something, I needed to consistently move.
Wow.
Way to go. And you knew that, and now it's your strong suit. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot of photographers listening to this that are relatively new. And then for those that aren't, who are more veteran, they could think about Kristen giving back to you. Could you talk about that brief moment where you were both working for her and starting your own business, really, sort of beside her? What was the first wedding like that she just said, hey, I'm not going to do this one. This is yours? Or did it work that way? How did the first one go where you decided, I'm going to be my own person?
I do know there is several weddings that she would let me have the reins. I think she felt confident.
And she was there.
Yeah. And she'd be
yeah.
like, you can go do it. I know you can do it.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, oh, okay. Are you sure? Sure. And like, of course, you're always consistently looking for feedback. Like, was it okay? Did I do all right?
Yeah.
And then I don't remember when it switched. I really don't, because it's been a while. But she's always been an amazing supporter.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's a great thing for seasoned photographers to hear. Like, they can raise up their second shooter to a point of leadership, and they could, even at that wedding or at several, like, I loved having a great second shooter that I could trust with everything. Like, that's sort of the dream of the business owner, is to have the assistant who could kind of rock it all.
Yeah.
So she had that for a while, but then she was aware that, okay, she's kind of flying out of the nest now.
Yeah. I think it's at one point, like, we still, to this day, still work for each other.
Oh, that's
so great.
great.
Yeah. So like, sometimes if she needs someone to associate something and I'm free, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Vice versa.
Or I'm like, hey, I don't have a second shooter. And she's like, I'll come help out. And like, it's nice to have that friend that you can kind of look at and you know exactly what that person needs or is telling you to do without having to kind of explain it.
Yes.
You can kind of let them have the reins and
Yes.
they give you exactly what you want. And then it's nice to have someone there just to help.
Yeah.
Amen.
Camaraderie.
Amen. I have those people, and they know who they are. Andrew Cunningham, Isaac Carraro, Hayes Porter, all those guys, Alyssa Jeans, and we just know how to work with one another.
Yeah.
And it's just like we know, yep, okay, go tackle this, and it's and we all run our own businesses, and we just all team together to help each other out. That's so fun.
That's awesome.
That's so fun. Okay,
Yeah.
so one more question. I say one more. There's a ton more. It's like when I'm on the I'm on shoot. Okay, one more. One more. I was talking with someone last night. I'm like, I'm going to say one more a lot.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when we're done.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're just going to keep going.
That's fine.
Okay. For those that don't know, you probably do know. She is mainly destination. From what I see, you are like you said, you're going to Florida. What, like tomorrow? Yeah. So she just got back in town yesterday from her wedding, going right back and knocking 3 out in Florida, which is awesome. What? Or should I say how? How did you start getting your name out all over, really everywhere? Did it grow from one wedding, kind of just, domino affecting all over the place? Was it something intentional that you were doing, or?
I think it had a lot to do with the domino effect. I shot, say, like a wedding down in the Keys, and you post on Instagram, and you do all your tags, and then it was like I would get another inquiry for that area, and it's like, well, here's my stuff, like this is my travel fee, and they're like, okay, great, and it started to snowball from that. A lot of clients came from Instagram, or like I shot a wedding in Charleston back in 2021 that got featured on Carrots and Cake.
Nice.
And that just kind of, I got probably 4 or 5 weddings just from that one publication.
Way to go.
Which I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So when I got the email, I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Like, here's the cake. Like, I follow this,
Yeah.
And then I was noticing that, like, I'd get an email from, like, another potential client saying, like, hey, they saw this wedding on Carrots and Cake. They loved it. They loved the coloring. They loved the editing. And then it was just like they'd book and then someone else.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So it really was that kind of snowball effect of, okay, one wedding here, one those people, the bridesmaids here, the family here's over there, and
I've shot a lot of sister weddings.
I have a few families that will just, hey, after this one, like they have like 4 or 5 daughters, and like you're gonna take care of all of them. I'm like, great. So
yeah, but how does that turn into destination? Do they live in those places and they're flying you in?
So a lot of clients don't live there.
Right.
Like this past Saturday, I shot a wedding out in Toledo, Ohio, but we did their engagement session in Charleston, and they're from Charlotte.
wow.
Yeah.
So I already had a wedding that weekend that we did their engagement session. So I was like, hey, that Friday I fly in around 10 o'clock. We can do a sunset session. Do you want to book it for that day? And they made like a little weekend out of it, just the 2 of them. They love Charleston. They're from Charlotte, so they must go down a lot. And then they ended up booking me for their wedding. And then it was like, well, it's going to be in Ohio. Is that something you could do? And I was like, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Well, I was definitely thinking of you this past weekend. I had an emergency wedding. I say emergency because the groom booked me for the wrong day.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was crazy. So he booked me for July 2nd, and he texted me on May 30th. And he said, hey, we still good for this week? Super pumped, because I hadn't sent any like follow-up on here's what to do. And it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm choking on my coffee. And I look down. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, wait, does he mean June 2nd? Because it's definitely booked for July 2nd. I go through my honey book, and I'm like, July 2nd. I go through 4 different messages that we've sent. And it's July 2nd. And turns out he got it mixed up. And it was actually supposed to be on June 2nd. I said,
my heart hurt.
Oh, no, I was
makes me
freaking out. I was freaking out. I was so scared. And he happened to be one of my friends too. So we had met before, and then he later was like, "Well, did you do my wedding?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so I messaged him like, "Dude, you booked me for July 2nd.
Yeah.
You are so lucky. I'm gonna be there." But then I hopped and drove 7.5 hours because there was no time to.
Was that where you were in North Carolina for?
Yeah, I was in North Carolina for that.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm like, oh, I was so scared. So I, got packed and was like, okay, here we go. Got on the road, and move some things around. But I was thinking, wow, she's a trooper for being able to do this like on the go. And
Yeah.
You're lucky you didn't have another wedding.
oh my, I don't know what I would have done.
No.
I was like freaking out. I hesitantly just checked my calendar, like, please don't be something else.
Yeah.
And there wasn't. But
I did that last year. I did a big oopsie.
I did it
Double
twice
book
this
or
year.
misbook?
Well, it was I don't have a very good calendar in my head. So I love Honeybook, but sometimes it doesn't tell you like, oh hey, like you're booked the next day on this in this date.
That's why I have Google Calendar now, because I linked all of my calendars just to Google Calendar. This is everyone who's on Honeybook. Honeybook's great for the booking process and sending it out. Their calendar, however, will get you screwed over a few times. Honeybook, if you're seeing this, we'll talk. But go to Google Calendar and link your calendar to Google, and then every time you schedule something on Honeybook, you can have an automation to where it'll give you a reminder a week before, 3 days before, day of, and a couple hours before. That's helped me a lot in just the past month, because I double booked myself and I didn't, so I associated it out. But
Wow.
if I had it all figured out, then it would have been good. But
Yeah.
GCal.
Yeah. This wedding was, I think, it was a 29th wedding, and it was in Greer, South Carolina. And then I had already booked a wedding on September 30th in Greer, and then the 10-1 was in Milan, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Can't do two places at once.
So it's like, so my mother flew in the couple days before, and we drove out to Greer, and we put a mattress in the back of my car.
No way.
And you know where this is going. A lot of people watching this, my friends are probably be like, oh my God.
I think we may have mentioned this on like last month's live call.
Yes.
I think we did.
Yes.
I don't remember.
I've done a few of these, but this one was a complete oopsie because I thought there was more dates in September. I thought there was like September. I was
Right.
like, I've got September 31st. I didn't realize that it ended on the 30th.
Oh, man.
Wasn't doing the whole like knuckle
I was about to say the knuckle
Exactly
thing.
right.
I'd be like January, February.
Yeah. And she flew in, and we had the whole car set up. We drove to Greer, and we ended up getting caught in a massive hurricane on the way. It was Hurricane Nicole, I think, going through South Carolina at the time. And then we left there that night, and we drove as far as we could. I was slept, she would drive, and we would drove like, say, 5.5, 6 hours. And then we would hop in the back. We stopped at a Love's gas station.
Yeah.
There
We
you go.
cuddled in the back of my SUV, me and my mom.
That's cute.
And then we got up probably 3 or 4 hours after that and got to drove the rest of the way into Milan, which is about 2.5 hours. And then I shot that wedding.
Wow.
She just doesn't give up. That's to all the brides that may be watching. Go to her. Even if that happens, she's got you freaking covered. She will drive through the night.
Don't do what I do.
Don't.
It's
Yeah.
so dumb. So
Man.
Wow.
It's not smart. I won't do that again.
Yeah.
Look now.
I did something like that, except I just was like, nope, not doing it. So I sent someone the wedding. I was like, go ahead and take care of it.
You
Not
said
doing it
no
again.
to one?
No. Well, it wouldn't have worked. I was booked on the same day, and I was like, and I already had my whole team knocking out one wedding.
But you tried to figure it out in your head before you said no, didn't you?
Oh, I didn't say no. No, I didn't say no. I just said, I've got someone who's taking care of your wedding. Unfortunately, I am unable to be there.
You
Yeah.
still booked it.
But you still did.
Well, I still booked it. This was unfortunately like a month before the wedding, and I was like, good God, I can't. I didn't realize what happened. And it was also because of a calendar mess up.
It can happen.
It can happen. And now I check my calendar genuinely probably 30 times a day.
There's only 30 days in September.
Yes.
If anyone
There's-
wants
Maybe that's
to
the
know,
title of the podcast.
and
only
and
30 days in September.
and I think in June, is there only 30? Something
I
like
don't
that.
even know how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they're
January.
like,
Might-
whatever.
I
June
feel
has 30.
so-
June has 30. Yeah. Because
July would have 31. August has 31. So you like double on your pinky.
yeah, that's what it is.
So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
September
has 30.
Oh,
That would've
see?
saved
September-
you.
September
would've
does have
saved me if
30.
I knew
It's
to double
the-
tap on the pinky.
I genuinely do that quite a lot. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't know who I learned that from, but I was probably in like second grade.
I
We
did not
may
learn
have
that.
just educated a whole world full of photographers on how to tell.
Just use your
The knuckle trick.
yeah. Screw Honeybook.
Yeah,
Just-
screw Honeybook.
just like
Let me see. I've got the 31st open. Wait, nope, not
Yep.
that day. That's
Oh,
so
boy.
crazy. Man, I'm thinking there's so many things I can learn just from talking to you. I'm trying to figure out what are some questions.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if I'm wanting to go into destination photography, you're really good at it, but it seems like you're accidentally good at it. Like not good at it, but like getting them. Like you did
You
the
are good
right
at it.
stuff.
You are good
at it, but
Yeah.
you're intentionally good at it. You accidentally just have become like the boss at doing them. Like you get tons of them. If I'm not that way and I want to be that way, how do I get more destination weddings? That's a long way to get to that question, but how do I get more?
It's
Hey guys, want to take a break really quick just to invite you to shoottheveil.com. If you're not already a member of our community, we would love to have you come check it out. Listeners of the podcast, we're throwing in like a free month for you. Use the promo code podcast when you go to shoottheveil.com and sign up, get your login, jump in. We're a community of photographers just like you. And if you want to create a really cool business doing something you love, we want to help you. That's what we're here for. Sam and I created this for you, but it's really about the community creating something for each other. So if that's for you, jump in. Can't wait to see you there.
you have to put if you want to do a wedding in Florida, you have to put yourself there to do it or be willing to pay your travel. Some of the destinations that I did, I paid my travel.
Yeah.
Well, you can expense it. It's a business expense. So
Sure.
it did work out for me in the long run. But it's one of those things where if you want to be in Charleston, shoot a wedding in Charleston,
Go
or
to
try to
Charleston.
find a client that's there, or an engagement session, connect with couples, find someone to say, I just shot this engagement session in Charleston, and then like plug the heck out of it on Instagram.
Wow.
And so people see that, like, oh, she travels. And it's like when someone inquires for, say, a Charleston wedding, you can always say, like, oh, hey, like, I've only done an engagement session there, but I'm willing to pay my travel
Yeah.
Right.
to get there to shoot your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And if that couple is willing to, like, say, buy a collection package and not have to pay travel, you just got yourself your first travel wedding.
So you took travel expenses off the table and you just say I'm the same as if I were living there.
That's genius.
I'm very lucky, though, because, like, my parents live up in Boston. My grandmother lives in Charleston.
That is good.
My cousin, who I'm very close to, lives in Florida. My best guy friend's mother lives in California, so when I go to California, I just stay with Peggy. I love Peggy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've
That's
got some
great.
regional connections.
I have like people in great places.
That's
So
good.
I'm coming to you.
Yeah. Hey, staying
Hey.
this night.
Okay, but go back. I want to get more detailed.
Yeah.
So if you want to do an engagement session in Charleston, if you want to shoot in Charleston because you love the city or whatever, how do you find that engagement session in Charleston?
Ooh, I'm sorry, I just hit your mic. So I, in the past, have posted on, like, Honeybook has great community opportunity forum that you can say, hey, like, I think I posted something in California once where I was like, hey, I'm in California, I was shooting a wedding in Santa Barbara. I'm looking for just a couple that wouldn't mind going, like, on the beach in, like, I mean, I don't shoot on Venice Beach, but I was like, Zuma Beach, somewhere cute. I was like, if anyone's interested, and I got like 4 or 5 people that inquired.
Cool.
Wow.
And you
Okay.
just schedule it with them and say, hey, these are the time frames that I'm available. Like, I'm only in town for this amount of time.
Yeah.
And
And you could write
we just-
that off, honestly. Like
Yeah.
if you just wanted to take a trip to Charleston, you could make it like, hey, I'm going to Charleston this summer. You could say, I'm going to be here these 4 days. Who wants an engagement session for free? Yeah. And now you write the whole trip off.
Yeah. That's so cool. And I've done, me and my buddy, Andrew Cunningham, we had a couple who became some of my best friends live in Hawaii. And 2 years ago, we're like, they're influencers. And we're like, let's go. Let's just go. We want to get out. We want to get out of Memphis and we want to be able to do weddings in other places. So we're like, we're going to pay and we're not going to charge them. We're going to say, let's meet in Hawaii and do a shoot for a day or two. And they agreed to it. And we bought our flights and we bought the hotel and we're like, let's just go.
Yeah.
And doing that one thing just snowballed. I feel like I know it snowballed my business and I'm sure it snowballed his as well, but it was something about we got out and we were what appeared to Instagram desired somewhere else. We obviously we wanted to go there.
Yeah.
But to all of the people that were following and all the people who were, watching us, they realized this is something that's wanted and these photos and this brand is cool in other places. And it just did something to, our clientele around here. And so I'm forever thankful just being able to go. And we spent, however much money going to Hawaii, 100% worth it. And we had a great time. We met some cool people. So,
Yeah.
Just like you said, if you want to go do something cool, go do something cool. If you want to go out, just make it happen.
It costs a lot to fly now, though. That's the only the downward bummer of it. Like back when COVID happened, I got a flight to, was it Portland? Usually it's usually going to like Spokane or Seattle or Portland is like a $900 flight. I think I got a flight for $250.
Yes, yes.
It was great back then. Now it's not so nice. It's like $600-$700 just to get to Portland, which you gotta put the,
I don't know which one it is. It's somewhere over here. That's cool.
But yeah, check. I mean, I would definitely say to someone check your hotels, see how much that costs. Check your flights. You're going to need a rental car unless it's a city that you can really Uber. I just shot a wedding 2 weekends ago in NOLA. I didn't get a rental car. And so I didn't have to have the client pay for that. I only budgeted for them to pay for enough Ubers. And I Ubered around the city the entire time.
Yeah.
So as long as it's a city that you have those capabilities, but some of them don't. If you're out in, the middle of nowhere.
Right. You can't Uber.
We flew in last weekend to Detroit. We stayed kind of near Ann Arbor, and then we had to drive to Toledo. So it was I had to get a rental car for that because I don't think an Uber driver is going to want to drive me an hour into Toledo from Detroit.
That's so funny. I use the app Turo. You ever use Turo?
I've heard so many bad things about it.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of like it. It's. I've used it a few times. I like it. I know some people that rent cars and make a great living renting cars. Yeah, it's cool. It's a whole side business with it.
I've just started to get into Airbnbs.
Okay.
Just started renting Airbnb.
Yeah.
I just for Florida, I just got an Airbnb today. That I was ooh, it's got a private pool.
That is cool.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, I'm by the beach, but it's a private. It's like a kiddie pool. I'm this is
you get
awesome.
to relax for the 5 hours you're not shooting a wedding.
Right. I'm going to Disneyland.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you told me that.
Thursday.
Good. So you get to enjoy it.
I'm
That's so
excited.
fun. That's so fun.
Okay,
Donny,
so if you want to do destinations, go to that place. Say, hey, I'm here. I need some cute couples who want to do a fun shoot. We got an engagement session. You may come back to do their actual wedding when they
That's happened to me.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Or you get their friends or whatever. But you got to show up in those cities. You don't just get randomly called to go somewhere that you've never been or you had no interest in as much as you would as if you were going to those places trying to be there.
Yeah, typically it's always the cities that I've made a mark.
Made an effort to be in.
Yeah, to be in.
That's so cool.
Help me with this, because this is undoubtedly in the minds of other photographers. Is why don't they just hire me? I'm in that city. Why would they fly you in there?
I've had so many people at weddings, you'll get the random, guest at the wedding. They're like, oh, where are you from? And you're you tell them where you're from. And they're like, why'd they fly you in?
Yeah, who are you?
Honestly.
There's so many photographers in Toledo. There's so many photographers in Boston.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to come down to is personality. You jive with just certain people. There was this one client that I just shot their wedding up in Boston, and we just got each other. Any client that books me, you have to video call with me.
Okay.
You cannot book me without FaceTiming or Zoom.
Yeah.
30 minutes on Zoom is all they allow now. I just want to see your face. I just want to see your guys' personality. I just want to hear how you talk. Inflections and the way that we operate in person is so different than email.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's so, that is so good. We actually talked a lot about this, and the wedding photography industry is so much more than taking photos on the wedding day. As a matter of fact, that's the easier part. It's just you can take photos on the wedding day and you do a great job of that. But what are you doing that no one else is doing? How are you connecting with your client? How are you just, having a personality with them and growing a friendship? That's one of the big things that people pay for.
Yeah.
It's I want to see the service aspect. Yeah, I know what I'm going to get out of the wedding. I'm going to get my wedding photos, but what else? What else is going to come from this? And
these people are with you. And I tell this to every client that we Zoom. If you don't want to book with me, that is totally fine.
Yeah.
I don't take every client that I Zoom with.
Yeah.
I am fine sending an email being like, hey, I love that we got to chat. We had a fantastic chat. However, just talking with you and hearing kind of your vision, and it is a co-collaboration process, this whole thing. I really think that you would be suited for, and I'll give you a list of photographers that I think that they would work fantastic with. I am totally fine referring someone and saying,
that is crazy. You've done that.
Yes, I've done it several times.
That's a baller move.
That's top notch.
It's just, it's what I've learned over the years, that you work, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And I completely let that go. I'm not going to force someone to book with me. I don't want to make someone have to work with me. There's people that don't book with me that I'm like, oh, I just really loved that vision or just them. It just didn't work, and that's totally fine.
I've never had the guts to say that. I've just had much more expensive prices for that particular date than other dates.
You're so mad.
Oh, that's the weekend that I'm double the price. If you want to pay 20 grand, I'll be there. But otherwise, I'm so sorry.
You're so mean.
I mean, was it last 2021? I already had a wedding booked in October, and at one October date, and they had booked me like a good year in advance. And I got an email from a couple that are huge TikTok influencers, and they were getting married, and they're like, it's going to be in People.
Oh wow!
I mean, it just eats you alive.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting at my computer, like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, what do I write? You know, and I've got everyone on my shoulder going, just cancel the other one. I was like, no.
Oh, I know.
I can't.
You can't.
I'm
be.
so obligated to those people. And like, they were going to pay about the same amount of price.
Yeah.
So like, sure, the other one had a.
Have they already booked the other couple? Have they already set the deposit and everything?
Oh, yeah. They had paid me like well in advance.
Oh, wow.
And some people are like, oh, just associate the other one out. And I was like, I can't. I have an honor system within myself that if someone books with me, I have to stay true to you.
It's huge. Everybody learned from that.
I can't. There's just that morale in me that, like, if someone did that to me,
priceless.
I would just, do they not like me? Was my wedding not good enough? Did I not have that arch that they, you know, that's super big on Instagram now? Or did I not have Parasol? It's just, there's so many things that I feel like would go through my head. Yeah. But it's not about the wedding, it's about the marriage.
Yeah.
So it's like, you
will be blessed for that decision, because that goes so much more than just business. That just shows who you are, and you stayed true to the couple that booked you before, and that's so great.
Turned on People magazine. It's fine.
Man,
that's fine.
Yeah.
No one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
Yeah. Honestly,
it's fine.
But you said, okay, I want to revisit one thing. You said you were posted and published in magazines. Do you know how you went about doing that? Because I know it's a big question for like starting off photographers. How do I get published? Obviously, like you can go to the.com and
2brightlights.com was how I got started getting published.
Yeah.
Two Bright Lights.
Yeah, it's $14.9. I'm giving all my secrets away.
That's what Shoot the Veil's all about.
That's what
I know.
It's about.
Some of my friends are gonna be like, Danielle, shut your mouth. It's fine.
Two Bright Lights. There you go.
I've done
2brightlights.com.
Okay.
It's $14.95 a month.
Yeah.
When I got started, and like I obviously, like when I was getting started, I wouldn't post like what I seconded or associate, because those were not my weddings.
For sure.
And don't do that.
You're a good
Don't
person.
ever
Don't
do
that. But any of the weddings, like the smaller weddings, like out in Starksville, Mississippi, or you know, a small wedding that I did in someone's backyard, you know, I would just find publications, and then when I started booking, I don't want to say bigger weddings, but weddings that had a different price point, or you know,
That's what they are. They're regular weddings. It's okay to say that.
I always feel weird saying that.
I know. It's okay. We're talking to photographers, not brides.
I know, and it's just in case of that one.
I
client.
know. I do censor sometimes.
But I would just be like, oh, you know, I'm going to try to submit this cute wedding, and it would get published on, you know, different publications. Like one was like Sweden, like it's like Sister Veil or something like that. But then it started to become like where we started working with bigger weddings, and they had coordinators, and coordinators a lot of times will submit stuff.
Yep.
That's how Carrots and Cake happened.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. That's I was wondering about that, because, you know, I've been published and I'm not even sure how. I did one wedding and it somehow got published in like 6 different magazines, and someone's like, how do you do it? And I'm like, dude, honestly, I don't even know how that happened. So
Yeah.
Sometimes I get emails from people that be like, hey, like we know you shot this wedding. I'm like, how'd you find that?
Yeah.
How'd you know that?
Yeah. And
With your
sometimes the clients will tell me like, hey, I submitted, you know, my wedding for this, and this. Is that okay? And I'm like, yeah. It's your photos. Do what you want
You own
with
them.
them.
Yeah.
You want to put it on a billboard in downtown LA, pay that price, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well, you know, there was 2 things I would say. 2 Bright Lights is awesome. And for all of those kind of things, packaging a presentation for a magazine it takes you like an hour.
Okay.
But you put them in a Dropbox these days. You can put them in a Dropbox or 2 Bright Lights. You submit it thinking as like, this is what it would look like if this were a spread. I think this would be cool. It was barn chic, or it was this, or minimalism, or whatever you think would be a cool story. Do the work for them and they'll be like, oh yeah, we're looking for content. They're all looking for content.
Yeah.
So that's easy, number one. Number two, I actually sold submission to brides because I could go to a few regional magazines.
Okay. So like more local or?
Yeah. Well, regional, like Southern Bride would be one. But you could go to those and say, I want a full spread and I'm going to do a story about this wedding. And I'm going to do it. And I team up with the planner or the designer and say, hey, this bride, she's going to be awesome. I know you're going to do a great job. We're going to submit this to Southern Bride. But it's actually, I'm buying a spread and the spread's $2,000. So I just tell the bride, hey, if you want to be in the magazine, you'll have a 2-page spread. It's $2,000. I'll do all the work and you get to be in a magazine.
And they do that.
That happens several times.
Wow, that's so cool.
Because then that bride gets all those magazines. She gives them to her family, and like she's just, she's a star.
When do you get to be in a magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So then I would take the magazine to my frame shop and say, hey, put this into a frame, and he would cut out the cover and her spread.
Yeah.
And it looks, hanging on the wall.
I tried to do that with something from Hobby Lobby, and it didn't look
Yeah,
as good. It looked horrible.
Yeah.
And it started to fall.
Yeah.
It's good for you getting it framed. I should have done that.
That is cool.
I don't know where those magazines
Anyway,
are.
it's cool, but it gives you a way to get published.
That is good to know. That's good to know. There's a lot to learn from just the few minutes we've been on here. I think that's so fun.
I hope I can give some tips.
Okay, well, let's go back to destination stuff.
Absolutely.
You're doing great, just generally. But so thinking of you as a destination photographer, go through like your routine when you're packing. What do you take with you? How do you manage that world? Because that's kind of a pain in the butt.
So I just literally unpacked my suitcase from Michigan this morning and put all my Florida stuff in there. I roll my clothes military style.
Okay.
But I have one camera bag that I've had for 5 years. This thing's amazing. It's a Case Logic from Amazon.
Kind of basic.
It is so basic, but it fits under a plane seat in front of me. I don't have to check that bag.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's super important.
Yeah. And if I feel like if the plane's a little too small, I'll upgrade my seat to make sure I don't have to check it.
Okay.
But I pack about 3 cameras, 3 lenses in this one Case Logic, 2 cases of like
3 cameras, 2 lenses.
3 lenses. She said.
3 cameras, 3 lenses.
3 lenses. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 of them are set up. One's taken apart, and then 3 lenses on one side.
Okay.
Nice.
And then I put two flashes with 2 mag mods and my 24 to 700. Wait, sorry,
24 to 70?
70 to 200. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
I put that in my suitcase. And if they look at me and they're like, sorry, we got to check your bag. I have this tiny thing that's about this size, and you undo it and it turns into another backpack.
Yeah.
So I take my 2 flashes out, my batteries, and my 70 to 200, and I have another bag so they can take the suitcase. Like, I don't need it. Take it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, So it should not ever get checked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So important.
I know. I have a system for everything. Like, don't ever book your flights past 10 o'clock. But it sucks to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I know. Like, tomorrow, I have my alarm set for 3. Don't ever book a flight after 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's
Delays,
when you run into more
cancellations.
delays.
Yeah.
Any bit of weather anywhere in the country
Anywhere in the
is gonna
country that your
delay
plane's
you.
coming from. Yeah.
Yeah. So
good to
important.
know.
I would always book travel a day before the day I should normally be traveling, just in case of delays. But also I would use it as a scout day because this is a new city.
Yeah.
So if I get there on Thursday for the Saturday wedding, then it's cool and I'm relaxed. But I would always tell the brides, like, you're going to pay for an extra day of hotel because I don't want to be arriving the night before your wedding, just in case.
Yeah. And it's really simple to write an email. Say, like, hey, like, I've got 2 options to my travel package. This is what it looks like with me arriving the day before. And this is called the comfort package. So if you want me to arrive the day before the before the wedding, to make sure that I get there on time and I'm there for your wedding, you can book this travel.
Yeah.
People go, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to book that one.
Easy.
Because they want, and I always, anytime I arrive, I land, and once I get my rental car, I always text my couple and say, hey, peace of mind, I'm here.
Right.
Good.
Yeah. I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Okay. So
Yeah.
travel's important. What you bring on the plane, you're not checking anything. It's all with you.
Yeah.
What about data management? How do you ensure that the images are safe while you're traveling?
So I have 2 like Amazon card cases. I separate my cards.
Good.
So like my backup goes in one case. What I'm going to put on my computer goes in another.
That's
one goes
awesome.
in one of my in that camera bag, and the other one is on me.
Yeah.
Like in my fanny pack or whatever I'm wearing.
Good.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Important.
She sounds so solid. She's just like boom, boom. If there's something that go wrong, she's got it covered.
I never like if I'm traveling and I haven't checked into my hotel yet, I never leave my bag in my car. It's on my and it stinks to have a backpack that's that heavy on your back. I walked around Chicago for I think it was 8 hours with that backpack on my back until I could check into a hotel.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
What would stink more is losing $20,000 of cameras.
Yeah.
That would stink.
Yeah.
That would stink.
I never want to write that email.
Oh, that's like that. I was when I left for North Carolina the other day, I'm driving and I pulled over and I'm like, what if somehow when I was at Starbucks and then I don't know what was that, and then I like flip, I'm like checking all my Pelicans and I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah,
good.
I've stopped on the side of the road and like frantically gone to the back of my car in my suitcase and like looking for that card pack. Then I'm like, I know I put it in there.
Yeah.
But it's that intrusive thought of like, you don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not in the
that'll
car.
keep you up at night. That'll keep you.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's so crazy.
It's the worst feeling in the world. Because
It
like
is.
even like when I shot a wedding in Jamaica, I was super nervous about leaving my camera gear in my hotel just because like I don't know.
Yeah.
Any hotel, I feel like,
Yeah.
So if I go out and I know I'm going to be gone for a lot of the day, I'll just take my backpack with me
Yeah. Good.
Good.
in the car.
I would always at least take like the main camera,
Yeah.
the main lens.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can at least shoot the wedding if something bad happens. Yeah.
I hide my stuff too.
What you need, I'm just thinking of this right now. This is kind of off topic, but still in the same flow. You need an Amazon storefront with all of your like what you need.
Do that.
Oh, I don't know. I was hoping you knew.
I don't know.
Oh, just like post it in your bio for all the photographers listening. Like,
Yeah.
well, I want that bag.
The essential gear
Do you know
list.
I shoot on Yowongo flashes from Amazon?
Really?
Really?
Yes.
All
Everyone,
your flashes, like I like looking at your work and
tell
all
it
the
what to
flashes.
do.
I'm like, you're just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, are you?
I tell this flash what to do. I
Okay.
buy them in bulk. I have like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
I pack 1 in my camera bag, 2 in my suitcase.
Yeah.
My parents have 2 at their house. So if
never
I'm up
know.
in Boston, I'm like, oh, I got flashes already up there. They're
Yeah.
$75. I know someone's going to watch this and go, wow, that
Is
is
it like?
so unprofessional.
Wait, are those don't have ETTL? So is it? Do they?
It's all manual.
Okay, so
It's all manual.
Yeah. I
But
shoot
it's remote
like,
flashing. It's remote triggering.
No,
No?
it's speed
No.
lights. It's speed lights. You
It's
put them on the
speed
hot
lights.
shoe.
yeah, I have them. Yeah, 1/6. Usually I'm at 1/16.
Yeah,
And I shoot like whatever lens I'm on, I'll change it to like whatever depth.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I shoot solely with those.
Does it have white card? Does it have a white card?
It does, but
Okay.
No.
I put that little mag.
Oh, that's right.
silicone
Yeah, that's
mag
right. You were
mod
telling me
thing on
that.
it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Okay. What does your mag mod do?
It's
What is it? Disperses
it diffuses the light.
No, I understand
Oh.
like generally what, but do you aim it at the person?
Nope, 45 degrees behind me, towards the wall.
Why do you use a mag
That's
mod
cool.
when you're diffusing backwards?
I don't know.
It's just
Is
cool.
this is probably where I'm gonna like. I look like I don't know what I'm
Well, in LA, I shot fashion, so I know what I'm doing.
We had studio lights for stuff like that. We would
Yeah.
have like stuff that you would, disperse light off of your background and stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. But flash is completely different. I think.
Yeah, I do. I'm always
studio.
shooting up.
Always up,
For
always
some
up,
reason,
yeah.
I don't know why. I just like think white card is cool.
Sometimes I'll shoot
Oh,
up
my
if it's like a
card.
really, really high ceiling.
Yeah.
If it's a really, really low ceiling or if there's a white wall behind me, I always shoot behind me because
Yeah.
that diffuses that light. But if it's an orange
Yeah.
wall, which we have a lot of those here,
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely shoot up.
Okay.
Or shoot
That's
straight.
why I like the mag mod. You can
Yeah.
put little filters if you're shooting against an orange wall.
Is that
That's-
what I got in there? I got a little thing. I
that
literally
what it
looked
is?
at it. I was like, I
You
don't
can
need that.
totally do that. You can put a blue gel over your light
Stop.
if you're hitting an orange wall.
Didn't know that because
You
I'm
know,
always.
I toss that. I think I have it in like a closet
No.
somewhere.
Or you can use, oh my gosh, y'all. Or you
I
could
didn't
use
even
it
know
like
that.
for sunsets.
Donny
You could,
is disappointed.
I think back in my day, like we used flashes for everything because cameras kind of sucked. Like you needed flash
Yeah.
just to even take a picture.
Yeah.
Y'all don't need that. Like no one needs that these days. You can literally take a picture at like 12,000 ISO.
Literally.
Which
yeah.
I think I've had to do.
I've
Yeah,
done it a few
and it's-
times.
it works
It looks
out.
great.
And then the whole like denoising and
Oh,
in
it's
Lightroom
insane
now.
now.
There's the new stuff, and
Yeah.
then
That stuff scares
You don't
me.
even have to know Photoshop anymore with the new generative fill.
AI make it better.
Yeah.
Done.
Jeez.
But anyway, back to flashing. Flashing is
Yes.
important. But the little color gels are kind of cool for sunsets. You can put a color on them. I think it's blue, and it makes the sunset more pretty. You tell your flash.
Make it like oranger.
It makes it oranger.
Oranger.
Yeah. You
That's
tell
weird.
your camera that you're shooting in regular light, and maybe you put an orange filter on. There's one little trick. You basically lie to your camera, change the color of the light, and it makes the sunset more dramatic.
Well, don't we learn something new every day?
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Anyway,
That is really cool.
destinations are fun. Let's get back to that.
Yeah.
So this isn't a flash. Okay, Danielle. So going back to like the early years in your career, what were some of the mindset shifts or big decisions you made that set you on a path for where you are now?
Probably learning client experience. Really kind of delving in and making them feel like they're really serviced was something that I learned over time that I think now is something that my clients get to benefit from with the planning process.
No one thinks about that.
I was about to
early
say,
years.
I don't feel like
you
anyone
don't.
else would have said that. And I'm so thankful she did because that is so big.
Yeah, it's huge.
I mean, when I started, I went, 15 weddings my first year, 33 the next, and then it was like 64 the next, and then 53 last year. And I've got 49 this year.
Wow.
I've noticed that when you do too much, you take on too much. You don't have enough time to really delve into your client experience as much. But that's something I learned over time. And, giving myself a little bit less work to do, a little bit more free time, I can put like for engagement sessions when a client's like, we want to do our session, like you were kind of thinking like rustic field. We go on Pinterest. Let's, take photos that I've done, take photos that I think they are kind of trying to envision, put it in a mood board and send it to them and say, what do you think about this? Like on June 19th at like 6 o'clock. It just makes them feel important. They have a mood board to look at and go, oh, wow, she gets it. Or she was, we were thinking like downtown Nashville, with boots, a little dress, and maybe, kind of Broadway. Well, great. We should do that like at sunrise because that's the only time you should shoot it. But Broadway in Nashville is sunrise. And put it together a little mood board and say, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Has just a bunch of different, photos of that in that area. Or when a client books, immediately responding with like an email and giving them a wedding guide, something that you put together with your words as to how you shoot and what to expect on your day. And it gives them something in return. Again, they're paying a deposit or a retainer, sorry. They're giving you money. So you want to make them feel like they're being responded to right away.
And is all that automated for you?
No. I have to sit at my computer and type it out.
And you're
And
doing that
attach.
for 50 weddings a year.
Yeah.
I will say,
Yeah. I won't do as many
automation is good, but I know when I get an automation in my mailbox, and I know when I have a written out email.
Yeah.
And I think your brides and all of your clients know that. We know when we're getting that. Oh wait, this is from Danielle to me.
Yeah.
And so there's a beauty in that. And yeah, there's other things we can always automate.
Okay.
But there is a level of craftsmanship and hand service that goes into it that makes you special. So I really admire that.
I think I think I had to sit down and be like, what do I like? Like I sent a piece of furniture out to a guy here just to kind of refurbish. And it was 2 months went by and I was like, I haven't gotten anything. I haven't gotten a text yet. I don't want to bug him. And I kind of put myself in the shoes of that's a bride waiting for photos or that's a bride waiting for a response from an email. And I think that you don't have to have constant contact. I don't think you have to send multiple emails, but check-ins are fantastic.
Yeah. Check-ins
make you feel seen as a client to be like, oh, it is like 6 months out from my wedding. This is what you should do for your 6-month check-in. Like, hey, we haven't started working your timeline yet, but this is a great time if you're doing your save the dates. Let me know if you have issues downloading any of your engagement photos. Do you want me to help you? If you want to send me like your password or your email to Vistaprint or Minted, if you're trying to do it, if you have any issues, just reach out.
Cool.
Totally fine helping you make sure those photos fit. There's different ways to incorporate check-ins with your clients. Creating guides are great. Like engagement session guides to show like outfits, colors, locations, mood boards are great for them to see what their session's going to look like.
I love the mood board idea. What about, but going back, do you have reminders set?
You can set tasks through HoneyBook.
That is true.
And it'll say like, hey, or whatever you want to write in it as your task.
Yeah.
Another thing that I do, I usually set up timeline meetings through Zoom.
That's great.
And people are like, oh, why are you doing all of these meetings, like taking them? I'm like, it's nice to just sit down and see someone face to face and say, I sent you a questionnaire. I want to go over a first draft of the timeline together.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes not every client wants to do a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
But a lot of them do.
A lot of them do. A lot of them do. That's
Cool.
so cool.
Spending a lot more time and effort on my part that I'm getting paid for, obviously, but I don't know, it just feels more well-rounded
Yeah.
Yeah.
clients.
My next question is, how did you get 36 hours in a day? I'm just playing.
Oh gosh. I wish I could, because like I got up this morning, like I just landed, I got in at like 10:30 last night, and like we're doing construction on our house soon. And so I had the contractors and the HVAC guys coming out at 9 o'clock this morning. And I was like, I'm on a podcast from 3 to 5. And then, my man's looking at me, goes, do I get to see you today before you leave again? I was like, yeah, we'll go out to lunch. And I'm on my phone the whole time. And he's just like, really? And like,
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I'm just gotta book this Airbnb.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just feel bad. There's not enough time to do everything. So I gotta step back a little bit and take less.
Yeah.
So I
I
can
think that's something we
focus.
all can learn from, myself included. And I catch myself doing the same thing with my wife. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Which is one reason you noticed that I had a work phone, right? And so that was one thing. I'm like, I want to be able to have this kind of separated and separate my life a little more, because that's a huge part of, all of this, is having that separation between work and life when you're a personality as a wedding photographer. You are a personality.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's huge to be able to step back. I think that's really cool. And we talked some about managing our time, and I think it was last week's podcast, and it was about, having a virtual assistant and all that. And that's something that I'm looking into. And I think it's really cool to be able to, how can we make the most of our time with the people we love and with the brides that we love as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's so cool. Thank you for sharing all of that. And man, I've learned so much already from this podcast. Learned
you
more
learned
about
something.
Danielle Lozeau, and I've learned more about how to become like a genuine wedding photographer, like a genuine person, a genuine
Someone who just
Man.
likes to work a lot.
workaholic. Hey, same
all it
here.
is.
Same here. I mean, I'm always doing something.
Yeah.
It's
That's
the way
so
the
cool.
anxiety can't find me is if I'm working.
Yes.
Wow.
It's my great hidden tool.
Yeah.
I know. Isn't that true? I know it. Danielle, thank you. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and say hi to everyone watching, and especially us, and just making this special.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Thank you so much for having me and letting me man a mic. I don't think I swore. Yay me.
Good job. I don't think
I
You're
can
the
tell you were
audience.
holding it way back.
At one point I was like,
finish.
logical.
Yes.
Heck.
Good.
Oh,
Sorry. Trying to be clean, folks.
We're going to beep all of those words.
Just go burp, 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 whatever button
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
Next time, you
Oh.
got to help me find that button so we can just press
man,
it.
there's we have a whole set of them over here.
Okay.
I just want to press a passed out button.
Oh, wait. Oh, well. We'll figure it
Oh.
out later. It didn't work.
That's all right.
Anyways,
Next time.
closing off, everybody, I appreciate you watching. If you're watching this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're watching this, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. We would really appreciate it. Share it with some of your friends. And if you're not already a member of Shoot the Veil, do it now. Go ahead and hop on our Instagram or website, wherever it is. Follow us and join the community. We want to learn more from you. We would like to talk with you, talk with Danielle, learn from her, and follow all of the work that's going on. So go to shoottheveil.com. Download the app, make your account, and we would love to be able to talk with you and just all around be connected as photographers and learn from one another.
That's right.
That's
Danielle's got a great business. You can have a great business. Connect on Shoot the Veil.
Follow me.
Follow
I'll
her.
teach you all the mistakes you shouldn't make.
That's right.
I've already done them.
We'll see you guys next time.